There you go. We are live.
Episode 20.
There you go. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Staying safe, Dave?
Yeah, brother. I just 6 feet. 6 feet. Yeah. Been at home for 2 full weeks now. Hey, Teresa. How you doing? Yeah, just working out of the house. Being bored, snotless. You just got issues. Click on the link again. Go to the start up there. He's having issues trying to.
Where?
All right, where it gives you the notification bar. Yep. Where it says step into the paranormal. Where it says special guest Kelly Miller, top one. There you go. Click that, and then it should reload. And then it'll show you on the notification, and then you can go in. He's technically challenged. We got his back though. It's thinking. Some assembly required.
Done.
Batteries not included.
Anyway.
That's all right. I got her back when it comes to everything. So, hey, Debbie.
Yeah, you just got to give me the questions, man.
All right, we
let
can
me
do
know
that.
what's going on.
We can do that.
Before we get started, let's see, today's the 9th?
Yeah, 29th.
We were supposed to be at the Sam Miller Mansion last night.
Yep.
We were going to do our new seminar, Spirit Provocation, and followed by an investigation. Actually, our guest tonight, Kelly Miller, she was supposed to be with us last night.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's going to be rescheduled, as well as this upcoming weekend. We were supposed to be at the History and Haunts in Essex, Maryland. Kelly was going to be there as well. Along with a lot of great other people. That got postponed as well. However, next Saturday night, our regular time, 7 p.m., we will be doing a special 21st episode of Step Into the Paranormal. Our guest will be Tori Smith from the Paranormal Help Desk out of Kansas. That's going to be a lot of fun. If you're watching, Tori, hello. And on a sadder note, I'll get this out of the way. Our friend Steve Westman got word from his brother last Friday that Steve passed away. He was having some complications from a pre-existing illness. Our condolences to Steve's family, all his friends, everybody that knew him. Dave and I actually never met him in person. However, when we started Paranormal Inc., he was one of our first followers, and whenever we would post something, Steve would be like the first one.
All over us, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be the first one to comment in with some funny stuff. And, I knew something was going on with him because I didn't see him for a while on our pages and stuff. So, condolences to Steve and his family and friends. He's going to be missed. And then today, when I got up late today, I was up all night doing some work around the house, and as soon as I logged on to the phone, Porter posted that, remember country music singer Joe Diffie?
Yeah.
He died from the coronavirus. I remember hearing his music when I was a kid. My dad would occasionally play it. So,
Well, we also got to give our sympathy and condolences to our good friend Peggy.
yes, Peggy.
Her sister passed away day before yesterday. She had some health issues along the way, and I'm not going to discuss that, but our sympathy and condolences to you, sweetie.
Yes, Peggy, we love you. Thank you for always keeping an eye on us and supporting us and making wise cracks about Dave on our pages. But in all sincerity, we're very sorry.
Yeah, we love you.
We knew what was going on with your sister and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
without further ado, let me get our next guest, our first guest,
Our last guest, our
last
special guest.
on the phone here.
So, and I did send you the link, Kelly. Woohoo! I remembered. Someone's technically challenged. We got to teach him how to actually do videos.
Hello.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
How you doing, Kelly? That was Ernie, but
This is Ernie Kelly.
Dave's here too.
How you doing, dear?
Ernie first, and then hi, Dave too. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Not bad. You sound like you're in a bathtub, blah, 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 talking like this.
Really?
There you go.
There you go.
go.
You sound like you
Okay.
was talking into an empty soup can.
I was going to say, I didn't change anything, but who knows? So, as long as you can hear me.
There it goes again.
Yep, you moved. Go back to where you were. Say hello.
Same spot.
There you go.
There you go.
Don't move.
How are you doing?
No,
How are you
I
doing,
didn't.
Kelly?
I'm doing okay for being inside and in my house and, limited travel to see all my paranormal friends. But, it's for the best of everybody. And I'm sorry I caught your beginning. I'm sorry to hear of all those friends that,
Yes.
that passed.
Yes.
It's for the betterment of everyone. I think that we all kind of be cautious. So.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy though. Like even riding to here today, coming down like the main highway, it's
empty.
I mean, there's people out, but not like.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's empty like
But
my brain.
But it is for the best. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
because, my opinion is since they don't have a cure for this or really know how to battle it, the only defense we have right now is to stay away from it and keep it from spreading. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So-
Yep, you're exactly right.
Well, Kelly, for everyone listening and everyone watching, tell us who
you
you
are and
are and
what
what
do you
you
do?
do and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm Kelly Miller, and I'm known publicly as the Maven Medium, and I'm out of central Pennsylvania, but I do travel all over the place. I've been a psychic medium since I was born, and I have had the last 10 years I've been public, and I say it's the best decision that I've ever made. So I should have done it sooner, but everything in its own right time. I was tired of just being able to read for people during the day. I teach 5-year-olds, so I was tired of kind of reading just on the weekends and summertime. I wanted to be myself all the time.
You
so
teach 5-year-olds.
I do.
So
Yeah, I think
there's still some hope for Dave Seiler here then,
I
right?
knew he was going to go there. Hey, Ernie.
I've been cooped up in the house too long, man. I got a lot of because here's the thing, man. I'm going to be extra sarcastic tonight because I posted this thing on Facebook where you may have seen it, Kelly, where it's different numbers and each one symbolizes like, smart, cute, whatever, I don't know. And one of the numbers is sarcastic. So everybody started giving me like good ratings, but everyone put the sarcastic number in there. And I'm like, wow, really? I always considered myself a nice guy. I didn't know I was
Yeah,
sarcastic.
you should have seen the 12 accounts I did it with.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That just means they get your humor.
Kelly,
So there's nothing wrong with that.
Explain, well, I mean, it's not a lot to explain, but what exactly does the Maven medium, what does that exactly mean?
Well, years ago when I became public, I wanted a word, like, alliteration, and I wanted a word that would kind of flow with what I did, but I also wanted it to mean professional. And so
Right.
a friend of mine from California, I put it out there to client friends, and she responded, Maven. I'm like, I like that.
Yes.
So, that it means professional is what it means. So I like to really maintain the highest standards of professionalism with my readings, and I'm very big on privacy and respecting spirit. Even if I'm helping a team for an investigation, I'm very respectful, so I like to maintain it that way, and thought that word was perfect.
What, you said just the amount of years ago that you came public with your gifts. What, if you don't mind me asking, Kelly, what prevented you from doing that earlier, or what changed your mind and made you go public?
Well, I mean, I did, my close friends and some clients had known before then, but it was something that I really even shared with my lifelong friends at the same time. At that time I was married, so I shared it with my ex-husband at the same time, shared it with everybody kind of at the same time. I just felt like I just wanted to be able to embrace that all the time. And it really seemed to be a time that here in central Pennsylvania, growing up here was more of a conservative area. Now it's getting more open-minded, and people are to look for, alternative medicine cures, which I do some holistic healing as well. So, people just start these conversations, and, I really believe that and education builds understanding and acceptance. So
Right.
when people understand what's happening to them or what's happening around them or they're going through, then it really helps them to feel like they're in more control of the situation and understand it better. And these topics just kept coming up, and clients kept asking, and I started doing more group events, and I'm like, well, I just have to embrace it at this point.
Right.
And it was really wonderful. I just didn't know how the reception would be. Of course, I keep it very separate from what I do, professionally.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know
day.
that. I know that feeling very well.
So yeah, and that really, to me, I like people to understand too. It doesn't impact me. I'm not nosy to the universe. I enjoy, going out to dinner too. I'm not reading the restaurant at that time.
Right.
I enjoyed those things too. So really, as far as normalcy, I don't believe for myself I act any differently or anything like that. But I know that was a concern of my ex-husband and other people at the time, like, oh, well, maybe this is something that just came about, and it's not that way. Anybody with, sensitivities or gifts, talents, and abilities, like, you just get to that point where the term I use is hitting the wall. You just hit the wall, and you're like, what am I doing? I want to enjoy this all the time.
I have a question, Kelly.
Sure.
Every medium or psychic medium or whomever that we have on our show here, I always ask them this question, and I'll make it as simple as I can without sounding ridiculous. Being able to do what you do, okay? For example, you brought up going out to dinner. Your abilities, is that something that's always turned on, like when you walk into a restaurant or walk into a store, or is it something you can
Turn on
switch
and off.
on and off? Right.
Well, I believe in turning it down. I don't think it's ever off, but in order to be a human and lead a human life and do your human tasks, you have to be able to turn it down.
Right.
And I grew up, my mom had some ability when I was growing up, and her mom, my grandmother, had ability, a little different kind, and my sister even has a little different kind of, her affinity is more animal related. But really, for me, I grew up with them teaching me, like, this is how you turn it down. This is how you, utilize that. This is what this means. And really having that support system is really important. So whether it's relatives or whether it's, the rest of your team, or whether it's taking a workshop or class, if you can find people that are similar and are going through more, similar things like you are, you can really create that bond, and it's a deeper friendship right away. But that's really important because you have to learn how to turn that down. There are so many people that just can't, and it's so hard, to watch, but it's something you have to kind of tune yourself.
Do you remember back when you realized that you had these abilities?
I remember to a certain point, but my mom remembers further. I'm the author of several children's books, and one of the children's books it's called Invisible Billy. It's about my quote unquote imaginary friend when I was younger. And, that's about the time, 7 or 8 is the time when I remember. But my mom half jokes, not really, but half jokes, she'll say, you started talking full paragraphs at 8 months old and you didn't shut up since.
Right.
So, like, she would tell me, about, different, like, things that I would do or say that I don't recall even prior to that, but it was something that she knew ahead of time.
Wow. And for those that are joining us tonight, if you had the opportunity, last Thursday, Kelly was on the show Crossroads on Paramania Radio, and that was their first episode. So they had Kelly on there, and that was very. I listened to it, and I really enjoyed that, Kelly. You guys, you and Jody and Teresa, it was an amazing show, and fortunately enough, Dave and I will be on there this Thursday. Is it Thursday or Tuesday? Thursday.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good for you guys. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow, but yeah, I often wondered that, like, when you have these abilities, like when you're just going about your day-to-day, normal routine, are these things, or, or souls coming to you, or visions coming to you, like how, it just really, I find it so intriguing, you know what I mean? because I'm one of those people when I investigate, something literally has to come up and smack me in the face. You know what I mean? I've been told that I'm an empath, or that a lot of my personality or my mood swings is because I might be sensitive, but I don't know whether I know how to use it or I don't want to use it or whatever. Sure. I don't see myself that way. You know what I mean? And it just, I find it so intriguing when people have these gifts. You know what I mean? Right. Especially when we're doing our investigations.
Well, like Grace, my daughter Grace, who's 13. I think something's turning on in her brain because she's starting to come to me and say, Dad, I see this or I see that. At our last investigation, she not only came to us with a name, but what happened to him. Turned out, it looks like it may have been true. She's like, I see him falling off a ledge somewhere upstairs.
She came up, Grace came up with just a random name.
Yeah.
And what we were doing, Kelly, we were hosting an investigation at the Princess House in York. And she just came up with this random name. And sure enough, later on during the investigation, one of the tools that we run is the Phasma box. And that name that she said, and it wasn't a common name.
No, it was a weird name.
And and we got that as a response.
Multiple times.
Yeah, out of the Phasma box. And that, that was really...
And then she tells me about him falling off a ledge. She's like, and he landed on a step, arm first, and broke this arm, and then hit his head, and he passed away there. And it's like, honey, there's no ledge up there. Well, we went upstairs. There's a ledge probably about that wide on the right-hand side of the steps as you go down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, that creeped me out. I'm like, my kid's kicking into that.
Yeah.
And it's going to inspire her, too, the more you allow her to share those things.
Definitely.
Because as we grow, of course, we have those filters that, even, my little kids that I teach, they'll say something and they'll almost catch themselves. I'm like, no, what are you going to say? They don't have that filter yet. But as we grow, we do. And being able to share those experiences and have somebody around you that understands that is invaluable. It really inspires a lot. And it allows you to know that things are still going to be okay because you're sharing it with somebody that you trust and somebody that can identify whether you're using your equipment or whether you're using your sensitivity. You can relate to her. So that's really great she shares with you.
Now, do you think, is there a great percentage of people out there that has abilities, or I like to call them gifts because I honestly feel you guys are gifted. Is there a lot of people that have gifts that don't realize that they do, that in their mind they may feel is something else going on? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think everybody has a gift, talent, or ability. It's just if they want to embrace that, if they want to make it grow, if they want to, I know some males that just say, yeah, I can do that, but it's fine. That's just what I do. Kind of just like status quo seems to be more of a reaction from them sometimes. But, other people are like, yeah, I can do that, but it makes me really uncomfortable. So it's all in what you choose to do with it. And it usually happens in waves. Like it's like a cyclic development. You may sense something or always be able to do something, or something just starts happening to you. And then maybe things go quiet for a couple months or years even. And then all of a sudden now you can do that again, or you can do that still, but now something else has changed to it. So, it's like every so often you go through this like blossoming, I call it, of where you're just kind of self-enlightening, and that's just what happens. But it's amazing how those can change too over the course of and as you get older, or the people you're around, or the experiences you're going through, all those things can change that too.
Have you ever dealt with someone that was just the absolute skeptic that did not believe in anything or anyone having any sort of ability, and in dealing with them, you actually changed their mind?
Well, I don't know. I truly think everybody comes to embracing or not other gifts and sensitivity if it's the right time to do so. So I think, I've met people, even some of my own family members, that are just like, no part of it. And that's fine. My big thing is I won't twist anyone's arm because that shows it's not the right time for them. You know, I did have a client one time, and I have, for the majority, I have very, very sweet clients, but this gentleman was just a really, really difficult, because he just came in because someone told him to be there. And, you know, he was a very tall gentleman, and I am not at all tall. And so I, you know, kind of looked at him, and I'm like, "Sir, do you want to be here today?"
Kelly, we have a question just came in from Eric Julian.
All right. Does Kelly think that she does more powerful readings in person than over the phone, or does it not matter? It all depends on the person's energy.
It all depends on the person's energy. I don't have to be with someone to read them.
Okay.
So, yeah, it depends. I mean, I like to say if someone is close or I'm traveling, you know, one time when they have a reading in person, they can understand like how I talk and what things mean and that sort of thing. And then after that, if they want to do an online, they can. But it's not right now. That's what I'm doing is online readings, obviously, because we're not traveling. So.
Right. How many times have you been asked, do you know the lottery numbers?
a lot. And my response is that has so many people's energy input into it that's just I just laugh it off. Because,
well, just keep something in mind, Kel. Okay.
Okay.
I will always split it with you.
Okay, thank you. I will keep that in mind, definitely.
Hey, there's a topic I want to get on because I want to pick your brain about it because I have my own theory, and
sure.
you can thank Jody and Teresa because you guys talked about this the other night.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk a little bit about sleep paralysis.
Okay.
I'll give you my opinion, and then feel free to just pick it apart or tell me where I went wrong or what have you.
Tear them apart.
No, here's my opinion.
Okay.
The closest person that I ever was to in my life was my grandfather Ernie. The book I'm writing, I explained all about it in there, and it all connects my spiritual beliefs with my paranormal beliefs and so forth. Now, researching this since childhood and all that good stuff, I was never afraid of paranormal, supernatural, all that. However, after my grandfather passed, and I would say my prayers, I never wanted him to come to me where I could see him because for some reason I felt I don't know if it would frighten me or if it would just make me that much more emotional. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because in my heart, I knew he was where he wanted to be because I knew the type of person that he was. Sure. Now, my whole thing about, I feel that in a situation like that, I believe a spirit has the capability of coming to a person while they're asleep. Okay?
Yes.
That way, you know, their body's relaxed, their mind is open, and you know they can accept it or take it all in better without being afraid.
Sure.
Now, my belief on sleep paralysis, I believe everyone that goes to sleep at night, at some point, whether it's a matter of seconds or a matter of 3 minutes, I believe you go through sleep paralysis. Okay, I believe it's medically been proven and scientifically proven that each person, you know, experiences that once a night. Now, sure. Where I bring the paranormal into it, I feel that that's like the key moment if someone wants to come to you, appear to you, or get a message across. Because at that point is when your mind and your body is most at ease. Do you feel there's any truth to me believing that? Do you feel that makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as loved ones, I try to explain too, and I do some workshops and seminars on different topics, and one of them is levels of spirit energy and the ways that they communicate. Mm-hmm. And our loved ones especially, keep in mind what's going to make us comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I always, you know, kind of half joke, you know, it's going to be much more comfortable for you to see that relative in your dream, right, than to see them standing in the corner of your bedroom.
Exactly.
You know, it's going to be much more comfortable, and it's going to, they do more of what's comfortable. That's how that sort of higher vibrational energy is different than some of the other energies that I encounter if I'm helping a paranormal team. You know, maybe those energies are a little more in your face than a loved one. So absolutely, I you know, loved ones. With that being said, you know, some of my clients too, I try to explain to them, you know, occasionally we feel like our loved ones maybe aren't there. You know, like, oh, I haven't received a sign or a symbol from them in a while, or I haven't seen them in a dream in a while. And I always say, please know that they're still there, even if you don't sense them. But you have other things happening in life right now, and you have to attend to those things. You know, so sometimes they're the hardest to sense, is my point, because when you're emotionally close to someone, like you said, you know, you were kind of concerned about that person making you extra emotional. And that's oftentimes when we encounter those loved ones, even in what we feel is a dream state or a visitation state. If you go to hug that person and you wake up, or you go to talk to them and they can't, you can't talk to them, or, you know, all of a sudden the dream is ended.
Now,
oftentimes, you know, that's to give you a softer reassurance that they did pass. Maybe when you wake up, you're a little more understanding, like it didn't upset you all day because, you know, you thought otherwise.
Now, I'll give you a very brief version of what I dreamt, and tell me if, in your opinion, if you think it was a visitation or if you think it was just a dream of my imagination. Now, it had been a few months since my grandfather passed away, and the emotions were starting to settle.
Sure.
Now, in my dream, I remember coming downstairs, and as I walked through the living room and the dining room, I could see family members. My mother was there. My grandmother was there, a few cousins, and they were mingling like it was a dinner party or something. I went through the dining room into the kitchen, and the spot that my grandfather used to sit at the kitchen table, like in the morning when he would get up, he was sitting there in his pajamas that he always wore. And I stopped and I looked at him, and he kind of chuckled a little bit. And he goes, I know, I'm supposed to be dead. And I looked at him and I was like, yeah, I know. And he goes, well, I am dead, but I just want you to know I'm okay.
Aww.
And when I looked back at him, the chair was empty. But during that brief 10-second encounter, everything that was going on around us continued going on. No one saw him or no one heard him other than me.
Right.
You know, but I mean, to me, maybe it's because I wanted to take it as a sign, you know what I mean? But to me, I just felt that was his way of nonchalantly and very carefully letting me know he's okay.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that definitely sounds like, you know, a visitation. And I always, when it's our loved ones, I usually refer with that word to the experience like that, because it is just so, you know, and like, you know, he looked at you and is making a joke, you know, I'm supposed to be dead. Yep, you are, you know, but reassuring you of that.
It was like he knew what I was going to say, because I do think that that's what I was going to say in my dream.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. But, yeah, that's a really, really neat and unique experience for sure. Aww.
Right. And I never, I can't recall if I've had dreams with my grandfather in them, but nothing that was around the topic of his death or his well-being, just normal dreams. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I think it was his way of, either way it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of times loved ones do come through that way, you know, or when you have a visitation with them, it does come through that way. It's something every day. Like you said, that was his seat. You know, his chair was then empty. You know, it was something that you would have greeted him anyway had you come downstairs, you know, and he were on this side. So, you know, it's a regular, everyday sort of activity that you encounter with them. But in all senses, it's very real. And even during readings, you know, I'll ask Spirit, how they're communicating with those on the side, and they'll say, oh, well, they know what they know that was me, or they were addressing me, or they, asked to dream of me, so I'm coming through,
Mm-hmm.
So they do hear us too, and, especially picking things that are everyday activities or things that are going to make us most comfortable to experience them, especially the first few times.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's something that, yeah. I mean, it's just, to me, that's all just so mind-boggling. What do you have? I know all our events have been being postponed. But
Yeah, it was so sad the other day. I had to sit here and cancel all these hotels. And I'm
Oh, I
well,
know.
I know the Kelly, you know the one we're going to in Strasburg, Virginia, or West Virginia, or whatever it is, the
yeah, okay.
Paravation. I don't know if you saw the email that she sent out, but they're taking care of the rooms for us as far as switching the dates.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to check on that.
What other one? I think the only other hotel I got scheduled is for the Bash.
Gettysburg. I haven't touched that one yet.
Because fortunately enough, the one that got postponed this coming weekend, that's like 15, 20 minutes from where Dave and I are. Have you been there before, Callie?
I have not.
The
I was
Heritage.
looking forward to that one, yeah, but I have not been there.
That's
Yeah, we'll
a-
have to get that back on our board.
That's a very unique place. We were fortunate enough to investigate that twice, and one time Mike King was with us, and another time Mike King and his wife was with us.
Oh, okay.
And that's a very, to say the least,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting place.
Yeah, when we were actually in one part in that room, we were all of us surrounded by a table, and there were 7 of us in the room. And Dreama asked, "How many of us are in the room?" Trying to get an answer, and we got the answer 8. And we quickly counted around. And it's like we went, including yourself, and you hear the voice go, "Indeed."
Oh. Oh, well, they're just validating for you,
Yeah.
for sure.
But, but hopefully, man, I in my heart of hearts, I feel this is all going to be, life's going to be back to normal by the Bash, because that's the last weekend, I think, in July.
Andrew's asking a question of Kelly. He goes, "Kelly, how long am I going to be a hostage of New Jersey?"
Again, at this point, there's too many irons in the fire, too many people's free will for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big believer in those sorts of things. Some things we just have to wait and play out, and other things you have to decide. Your free will trumps everything too. So
What do you, other than our postponed events that we're waiting to get new dates on, what's in the horizon for you, Kelly?
well, I am looking at my schedule. So I have Fort Mifflin Paracon, and that's on June 6th. Life and Death, that's in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. That's June 19th to 21st. I'll get to be there and teaching there, so that'll be fun. I help with SOS Teen Paranormal Camp in the end of June, at the 22nd through the 26th.
That will be awesome.
Yeah, that's where we're hitting a snag in the road. At this point, the History and Haunts in Essex, that's rescheduled for June, I think it's 26th or 27th.
Oh,
But
okay.
the day that Brian rescheduled it is the day we're hosting the teen camp. So
bummer.
we
Yeah, I'm
gotta
still
we
trying
gotta
to
work
figure it
something out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out myself too. And then all I have after that is the Bash and Fleetwood Paracon in Brandy Station, Virginia. That's September 26th. So I get to be there as well. So a couple events, but I think a lot of people are just kind of waiting things out to see how it goes
Hey,
globally.
Kelly, I'm gonna one of our viewers just messaged in.
Sure.
I'm gonna read this to you. I haven't actually read it myself, but 2 years ago I was in the hospital from having a stroke, and my brother came to me. He had died. He was with 2 women. He was sitting down. He was paralyzed from the waist down. Still paralyzed. Who was the women? Who was the 2 women? Are you able to pick up on that, or is that too vague?
So I'm just trying to understand what they're asking. So that person they're saying that person, their brother had actually passed already.
Yes.
And that was the case.
Yes.
But he was surrounded by 2 women.
Yes.
Okay. Well, just so you and your listeners know, I hardly ever read on air to any program because I'm very big on privacy. So I also do some preparations of prayer meditations before I read for someone and after I read for someone. So just so you know, I will explain some possibilities of who those women could be.
Right.
Sometimes when I meet with a client, it's different. I read by seeing, hearing, and receiving message intuitively. So sometimes I will see, they'll give me particular symbols, and that will explain to me, okay, well, are they on the maternal side or the paternal side or that sort of thing. Sometimes they'll come through, they show me particular symbols for a relationship or a love, that they've had. So it all kind of depends on how those two women had come through to her with the way that I read. But, it could be even sometimes when I'll meet with clients, I'll say, it could even be generations back. Oftentimes Spirit will tell me who greeted them when they transitioned to the other side. So whether or not it was someone that he knew, maybe he was referencing those particular people. And that goes to their family as well. They would know by description who those people perhaps were over the description, that I could tell them.
Right.
But, those kind of things are they kind of go into play when it comes to reading and the way Spirit chooses to come through. It could have just been referencing, who greeted him when he transitioned. It could be who took care of him. It could be exuding gratitude for those people in particular. It could also be classmates, maybe not someone that his relative had known, who had come when she'd seen him. So maybe that's why they didn't place in her memory, or his memory, or whomever is asking. So, that's something kind of depends on all those things first.
Wow.
So,
it's, yeah. I mean, everything you say makes absolute sense. Sounds a little... It's just amazing how you get all that, because it's listening to it. It's like mind-boggling. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
It was a lifetime of decoding things, Ernie.
I can imagine, because my mind, as simple-minded as I am, my mind is 1,000,000 miles an hour nonstop. You know what I mean? And I can only imagine having the abilities that you have. My mind would probably just cause me to go completely insane. You know what I mean? Unless I had someone teach me how to control it.
Yeah, that's very important, and that's the first thing is always that how you protect yourself around energies and how you control your ability. And that's really what I focus on with the teens at teen camp when we work together, or when I help train paranormal teams or speak or that sort of thing. Those are things I really feel strongly about, because I know there are a lot of people that are in different ways, but I also know that there are even more people that are sensitive that do not know how to control it or protect themselves. So, to me, that's alarming. It's not safe, and it's I feel for those people. So, so absolutely, it is very distracting at times, but at the same time, by learning how to fine tune that, it does help.
Now, being a psychic medium, do you have, how can I, being what you are, do you receive, is it common for you to receive more personal messages or visitations than your everyday average person?
For myself or for other people?
No, for yourself.
No. Most people who read cannot read themselves. If they do, it's usually for a warning. I don't use, tarot cards or tea leaves or things like that. So sometimes people can use those as tools for meaningful guidance for themselves. For me, it's usually, if something comes through, it's a warning of sorts. Mm-hmm. So those are the types of things that I genuinely get,
now,
from myself.
Let me ask you this. Kelly, I have so many, because I'm so fascinated by this. I have so many.
You can tell his mind's going 1,000,000,000 miles.
I know. See
and
how
his mouth ain't catching up with his brain.
Let me ask you. Let's suppose I'm home doing whatever, and you're home doing whatever, and for whatever reason, somebody's starting to channel in regarding me.
Sure.
And you start to think about that, or do whatever it is you do. I don't know exactly what you call it. Sure. Do you believe that in some mental or physical way that, since I'm the one being talked about or referenced, that I'll feel it? That something, and I'll give you an example when you answer that. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah. Sometimes I feel that way because everything is an energy wavelength. So just like maybe you're thinking of someone and then all of a sudden that person calls you on the phone. Or you're thinking of a song and then all of a sudden you turn on the radio and that's the song that's on. So everything's on that, an energy frequency and wavelength. So, really it wouldn't surprise me if it were something that were coming through and you would pick up on that at the same time as I would sense it. I'll give you an example too, Ernie. Like one time I was truly doing something, because if you have sensitivities and you are just doing things around the house and you're not trying to read, you're trying to like just ground yourself or go about your everyday.
Right.
Sometimes you end up getting things anyway. So one day I was, doing dishes, and really that's all I was thinking about, completely in my meditative space doing dishes. And so I got something for someone, hopped on the computer, messaged them, said, I don't know if this is going to make sense to you today, but blah, 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 blah. So then I went back to doing dishes. Then they replied, oh, yes, thanks. I wondered about that today. That was going to happen. Okay, thanks. And then I moved on, and I was doing laundry later that day, and I got something else for somebody else and reached out to them about it. So my point is that, some of those things they were wondering about, others of those things they didn't even know that, anything would come through about that. I wasn't trying to pick up that information.
Right.
It just came through that strongly that I felt, I wanted to reach out to them about it, and they were thankful for that. So I just think everything is that energy wavelength. You can sense that as well, or, someone who's close to you can sense it too, or someone who reads for you, that sort of thing. And that kind of goes along the lines with, some clients ask me, well, if spirits passed to the other side, why are they here during a reading? Didn't they pass? And I say, yes, they have passed. They're on the other side, but they can come visit. And, it's the same sort of thing, sending that energy for a sign or symbol or reaching out to you. All those things are very relevant, depending on what's most comfortable to you, as we talked about.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. It's Dave.
Who the hell else would it be if I'm not the one talking?
You're always talking, so I'm like interrupting because I get it.
This is Dave.
See?
Oh, okay.
So like I'm not a professed psychic medium. I don't know anything about that, but I get these deja vus occasionally that are like really, really profound, that you almost get like lightheaded in the middle of them, and you have to change something to get it to stop.
Right.
What are those?
It's called psychological problems.
No, I'm just laughing because you're like, I just have to change something. I just love the excitement about this. Well, I genuinely feel deja vus for two different reasons. The first reason is to let you know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be at this given moment in this lifetime right now. So it's validation. And the second is, if you are somebody who is perhaps all the time or perhaps just in this scenario going to lead with your emotion to have an emotional response over a cognitive response instead of talking yourself through it. If you are someone that's like that, or just in that scenario would be somebody who's like that, that deja vu actually triggers the stress signals in your brain, so that you are, even though it may be seconds later that you find out, but those triggers are already happening or already happened. So when you find out, in real time, when you find out, you are less stressed about it emotionally because you've had that heads up about it. So maybe it would be something that, it would put you in danger.
There's a perfect example. One of the ones I had a couple of years ago, I was walking literally in Timonium, and I was walking at the same pace as this other lady who I didn't know, and all of a sudden, it almost went into slow motion as a deja vu. And I could hear like a horn honk, and then I heard like, something up top, like a construction, blah, 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 blah. And I'm here, and it's like almost time slowed down. And I kept going, I have to change this to break it. And I literally stopped walking, and the lady kept going. And if I would have been with her, she got hit by a bus. Mm-hmm. So, and I would have been right there with her.
Right.
But, I just kind of went, oh my God. just so, and I have these occasionally, which are like, you can almost see them in slow motion in your head as you're doing them.
Yep. And and what you did too, where you said, you used the words, I had to change it up, but really what you're doing is accepting what you're getting. So you're, okay, well, I have to slow down. So for you viewed it as, well, I have to back up from her, I have to stop or whatnot. But you acknowledged the message that you were getting and changed that course.
Wow.
Ooh.
So, that makes so much sense. Like, I like when you said, as far as the deja vu occurrences, that it's letting you know you're supposed to be where you're at that moment. That's if you think about that, man, that's pretty deep, and that makes a lot of sense. It really does. Wow. But the thing, Kel, the original question I asked you, that like, if something is coming through regarding me, is it a possibility that I'll feel it? And reason being, one night, I'll never forget, it was about 2 years ago. It was my very last night before I started my 3-week vacation. And I was sitting in my work truck, and it was hot as hell that night. And it was like 3:30 in the morning. And all of a sudden, I got this sensation on the top of my head, like just bugs running all over my head. And I started to, like, sweat real bad, but yet I got really, really cold. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? No sooner, I got a text message, and it was from a very well-known psychic medium friend of mine, of ours. And she said, hey, if you're interested, something just came through that's trying, to want you to know something or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was at the same exact moment I had those physical ailments. I mean, it was a coincidence, or can that really happen? Or, you know what I mean? Because it was just random at 3:30 in the morning, know? And I was like, wow, that was pretty weird,
Yeah. No, that can absolutely happen. And sometimes, as I'm sure that person can relate, you're not always trying to pick up on things. To me, I really try not to be nosy to the universe, but I also honor the universe enough that if something comes through and it's that persistent, I definitely will follow through by letting that person know, because at least, and that person probably feels the same way, I feel that my job is like a receptacle. Like, I am to acknowledge it and pass it along. If you get the message and you go, oh, I'm not going to do anything about it, okay, that's fine. You have every right not to do that. But I did my job.
Right. Okay.
So I honored spirit in the universe by passing it along. So that's, probably what that person was doing too. It may be enough for you to change your course. But I say that truly the point of any reading, whether it's random like that or whether it's planned, is validation. So it's validation from the universe as to why you're going through what you're going through, or you may be experiencing what you did, or validation from your loved ones.
Wow.
But having that validation truly is everything, especially like you said, at a time, you didn't expect that.
Right.
So,
yeah, it was just really strange. Like I said, I was just sitting there,
minding your own business.
running the clock out, thinking about, wow, I'm on vacation in, 3.5 hours. And next thing I know, I got cold. My head felt funny. I broke out in a sweat. And then, just almost simultaneously, I get a message, hey, something just came through on you. And I was like, wow, now I'm really, really bugged out here. Kelly, we don't mean to cut you short, but we got one more quick guest wants us to give him a call. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking an hour out of your Sunday.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you guys for having me on. It was a blast talking with you. And
look forward to seeing you.
Great questions, and I hope to see you both soon.
It will be soon once all these events get, because we got like 3 or 4 of them coming up with you. As soon as all this stuff, worst case scenario, we won't see you till the bash. But that, in retrospect, that's not too far.
She can always come over here. We'll have her live on the show.
Yeah, you can always meet us here, and you can sit right in. Well, we'll get
rid
of.
You can sit right there.
You can get rid. We'll get rid of Dave, and you can co-host with me that night. We'll send Dave out to get some milk or something.
Well, I look forward to seeing you guys no matter when it is. But thanks again for having me, and you guys stay healthy too. Okay.
Thanks, you, Kelly. I'll be in touch, my dear.
Stay safe. All right, so we have another guest who wants to come in. So the other guest, I know he's watching, and we're calling you now. Hint, hint. as soon as he finds them in the phone book. So I'm going to babble for a few moments while he's doing his thing. And
didn't take long.
Wait, watch this.
Hello.
Mystery guest, please enter and sign in.
I'll sign in, all right.
So please tell us who you are, mystery guest.
Tell us what you do, mystery guest.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't told anybody who it is.
Skip that. Let's just go back to the who you are, mystery guest.
All right. Who am I? I don't know. I figured, my name's Dave. You don't need another Dave. Sorry.
We called Psychic Cindy that, but her voice got lowered for some reason. I don't know. This is Ted Van Son, who hosts Paratalk Radio and WLFE DB Radio.
Yes, sir.
What's up, brother?
Well, I saw you guys. I've been listening to the show, and it's just like, you know what? I have a couple questions myself, but not to your guest, to you. And the other thing was, I just miss you guys.
Yeah, we miss you, brother.
You know what it is?
Crazy.
This quarantine stuff must be getting to him when Big Time wants to come on
our
our show. Yeah, the quarantine's getting to you, isn't it, Ted?
Yeah.
All right, Ted. Question number 1. Shoot.
All right, question number 1 is for Ernie. What the hell is going on with all the bracelets on your damn wrists?
Ted, how many years you known me?
Too many, but I have...
You just now noticed I have bracelets on?
No, you have, more than usual. It's like you're collecting them or something.
You should have seen the metal detector he had to get through to get here.
Pretty soon he'll have little tiny headstones around his neck and a necklace or something. I don't know.
No, I got my 2 necklaces on now that I always wear. My crucifix and my soccer ball. The two things I love most in life: my religion and soccer.
Oh, I thought he was going to say something else.
Every bracelet has a meaning to it. It is my protection. It is my energy.
You've got a whole bunch of people saying hi, Ted. So say hi to Kim. Say hi to Teresa. Say hi to...
All right, next question, Ted. Next question.
Why does Dave always look so freaking bored when you're asking questions?
I don't know. I'm actually monitoring. I'm playing Invisible John, but I'm in front of the camera. So
you're doing something because it's like, people are asking questions. Like I was on there 5 times, said hi. Hi.
What?
Wait a minute. Which section did you say hi in? Because I'm watching the watch party. I'm watching the live comments, and I didn't see you. So which live are you in?
I don't know.
See, that's the problem.
See, that's why I shut this computer down, because he sits his damn laptop in front of me and goes, "Now you can monitor the questions." Well, I don't see any. There's none of them coming up. What the hell? I'm sitting here
and he's click happy.
I'm sitting here watching a frozen computer screen.
I'm watching the WLFE live on the screen here. I'm watching the live party comments here, and I'm switching back and forth to the watch party comments.
Here's what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to buy a burner phone. And
hi, Callie.
We'll just put that number out for people that want to call questions in. That way we can keep the guests on my phone. And
there you go. There you go.
Now, one more question for David.
Yes, sir.
You're not live on Spreaker right now, right? Or
yeah,
you are?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, and you're using Facebook Live?
Yes.
How are you getting the 2 to work together?
We'll talk about that offline.
Oh, I am going to beat you, boy.
Check it on Spreaker. Yes, it works.
No, shoot.
Yes, no, it works. I promise.
Oh, my God. That's awesome. We need to talk.
Yes, sir. Have you seen the new Facebook Live, though? The new Live looks weird.
I hate it.
Hey, Ted.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bring this up, but...
I didn't do it. I swear to God, it was somebody else.
You're the only one I'm going to ask, and I know a lot of people are going to laugh at this.
Uh-oh.
What do you think of the beardless face?
You really want my opinion?
No, I don't. It'll all once this virus is gone, my beard will be back. The police department made us shave for the time being.
Oh, Lord.
You never, ever, ever, here's just rule number one, never, ever, ever ask somebody a question like that.
Yeah, that's a loaded question, man.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I could say for 5 different reasons why I would say what I would say, but, you know, it's just everybody's used to you with a beard, and now you don't have it, so you kind of got that baby face working a little bit. And, I don't know. You look all right. You still look handsome, I guess, but, you know, beard is better.
What?
No, almost
Beard is definitely better.
You almost made me spew my water. I'm laughing so hard.
Well, David looks much better with a beard too. I mean, he shaves off. He definitely looks like the back of a baby.
Back of a baby's ass.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that's what I meant. I didn't want to swear because I don't remember.
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
it's a
don't.
G-rated show.
I can't help it. I had to forgive me, everyone. I had to let that one fly. I feel like I'm getting ganged up on here by 2 guys that are bigger than me.
Oh, Lord.
Nobody will love you more.
Well, I will give you a call after the show to give you how the tips and tricks and the neat little stuff.
Yeah, well, they better work.
Check Breaker afterward. You'll see it works.
How are you handling the
The truth? I hate it.
No, how you handling the lockdown, man?
That's what I mean. I hate it.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not working. I have no money coming in.
Wow.
It pretty much sucks, you know.
Yeah.
So.
How long you think this is going to last, Ted? If you had to make an educated guess.
Well, I'm going to throw something out there with you guys. Since this started, especially when it became, you guys know that I'm an empath, and since this started, I haven't been sleeping. Things have been waking me up like continuously. I've been getting a lot of strange things happening, and it's been terrible. And I'll be honest with you 100%. Right here in my own home, in the middle of the day, I mean, I'll notice things like out of the corner of my eye, and I don't normally notice them. And is it because I'm home more? Who knows? But there's a lot of things that's out there that you can feel the people, how scared they are, and the fear is real. And then there's the ones that just really don't give a flying hoot.
Right.
It's all But I'll tell you, there's days where I'm numb, just because it's like I don't know what the next step is. I never thought. Now, and I'm pretty sure that David, you and Ernie, we all thought this, and I think we still do. Is like we never imagined ourselves in this position.
No, not at all. I mean, I was telling Ruby that the other, or maybe I don't know. My days all run together when you work night work. I was telling Ruby the other day that I never in my life imagined. I never thought I'd be alive to see something like this. You know what I mean? Where,
well, yeah,
you know what I mean? It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the next step is like zombies. You know what I mean? It's like
literally zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, it's like what the hell? It's like you don't know what you want to do. Like I'm here, I'm taking care of my parents. I can't stay at work because I'm a fear. Jeez, I talk English well. I'm scared that I'm going to bring something home to them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what was the movie? The one with the T virus and with the company, with the lady who I can't remember the name of the movie. They dropped the T virus and Umbrella Corporation. It's pretty much that's where we're at.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's gone worldwide pandemic and that's going to happen and just pretty much kill off the entire human race.
Yeah, I know. It's just there's so many things that just right now that don't make sense, though, if you actually sit down. Like, conspiracy theorists are really sitting down and they're pulling their hair out if they've got any, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, because there is a I want to say a section of the population right now that are split up in certain sections, like your conspiracy theorists and your UFO people and so on and so forth. I mean, they're actually considering that this is an alien attack on us, and I don't know why they think that, but this is how people think. No matter who we are, we all have different ideas, and some people's reality is like so far off. But let's just take it at face value, and I think that's what we need to do right now. And let's not go with conspiracies. Let's not think that UFOs did this, or Bigfoot farted and this is the after effect or whatever. It's just this is something real. It's in our face, and it's something we have to deal with.
Well, here's one of the stories I actually heard on the news, that apparently there was a gentleman working with this over a year ago and actually came up with a cure for this, but they decided not to fund it because it wasn't high on the priority list. I'm like, really?
Yeah, exactly. Did you know how many people out there are claiming this, though, David? There are people out there that, I just saw one today. There's 3 chemicals that if you were to have them both in, say, a drink, it would cure you from the virus.
Wow.
Well, guess what? Those 3 chemicals are in a tea bag.
Really?
If you drink tea, it would cure this, according to this person. So, do you know how many people are, after they read this, are going out and buying tea bags? You know what I mean? So it's like, there's just, people need to stop all this stuff. They need to slow down. They have to really listen for facts and do their best by their family and their friends.
The one thing I need to make sure people are aware of, and this is from multiple confirmed sources, that they're saying do not take acetaminophen
and ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen, that's it. Yeah. Ibuprofen.
It was three common like pain relievers. It was ibuprofen and
you can take Tylenol.
2 others, and they were saying that
it literally feeds on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tylenol is the only one you can take that's not right. So
there's
washing your hands is the best preventative thing that you can do.
Right.
Yep. So.
The hand sanitizer is it doesn't work. I mean, it's a safety thing that we all have. It's really not 100%. It's like 30%. Even if you have the highest dose of it, it's washing your hands.
You know what I keep amongst other things, and this is all the time, not during the Corona pandemic, but I always keep rubbing alcohol in my car. It worked because when I have to touch some nasty people, I dump straight rubbing alcohol in my hands. I mean, it dries them out, but it's better than
isopropyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to think about that. Which one do you have? 50%, 70%, 90%? I mean, anything that's below 90% has less effect than 90%, and they're saying that doesn't even have the effect that they thought it would.
Yeah. The only alcohol, because sometimes I put, back before I had a beard, after I would shave, I would put rubbing alcohol on my face to cure the burn. And it was like 70 or 75, whatever the percentage is that you buy it.
I would think you putting that on your face, it would burn.
It does, but man, does it close the pores up?
Yeah, I bet the hell.
Well, hopefully, look, people, let's do this. If not for yourself, please do it for poor Ernie here. Let's get rid of this damn coronavirus so I can grow my beard back.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's terrible, man.
Kim just said witch hazel. Oh,
witch hazel.
Yeah, witch hazel. You know what that's used for?
Oh, witch hazel.
Yeah, instead of this, it's used for that side of it. Nope.
I know. I hate this, man. I feel completely
naked.
Oh, it's just horrible, man. You don't know how much I hate not having a beard.
I know, but you know what? Back 20 years ago, this wasn't even a thing. I mean, there was no beards. Men were clean-shaven all the time.
Right.
It's one of those things that just comes back around.
Yep.
And it's going to be like everything else in life. I mean, we have to remember, if you're spiritual or not, but you have to remember that every day is a circle. Our life is a circle. Everything we do is a circle. It always comes back around one way or another.
Right.
Doing good or doing bad or what you believe. Look at this whole virus thing. We just had H1N1, swine flu, and they're all just coming, and they're just getting more and more powerful every time we create an antidote.
I tell you, the one back in, I think it was 2016, Ted, the one that scared me is when Ebola was going around.
Yeah.
Because when we would actually have to take someone to jail, when we get to the jail, the guards would be there with gloves, masks, and taking their temperature. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, man.
I mean, you're pretty much...
and here we're just
melt.
standing there like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, this one they're saying originated in a market somewhere with an animal, but now I'm hearing that animals can't transmit this.
I don't want to say my personal opinion, but
I don't know.
I
there's so much out there, fellas, that we don't know.
Yep.
I mean, I've heard that if somebody sneezed on their hand and they rubbed it on their cat, the cat fur held the disease or the virus. Then I heard that the animal's fur doesn't hold the virus; it's dead within 3 hours. Well, okay, you sneeze on your hand, you wipe it on your cat, and then all of a sudden your kid's playing with the cat. Like 5 minutes later, guess what?
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios with this.
I was listening on the way home from work the other morning. I was listening to I forget what I was listening to, but they had a doctor on there. I mean, it was a serious show, and they said that a lot of people are asking, can your pet carry this? And what this doctor said was, no, your pet can't be infected with it, but just like what you were just saying, Ted, that your pet can carry the germ for a few hours and pass it to you, but your pet can't be infected by it. You know what I mean?
I think that's where people are making a mistake, though. You know, I mean, this is all one of those things where there's so much information that was leaked out or said to be leaked out.
Or misinformation.
It's just so much misinformation.
Right.
And, you know, the CDC tries. And you know how many people actually go to the CDC website?
None. None.
There's not a lot. I mean, I actually put it on my phone so I could keep up with it. But how I was getting my facts was by that. I wasn't listening to CNN or Fox or anything like that, because we know that most media these days, they exaggerate or they lie about shit.
Really? The media lies? What?
Well, you know me, and they're not. I mean, think about it. What radio shows do you know that tell you the truth? Usually the ones that people hate or don't like, and so people don't listen to them. And I'm the one that searches for shows like that because I want to know what they're saying, because you know they're not going to lie to you. They're putting it all right on the table.
Yep.
Right.
TV, on the other hand, they all want the same thing. They want the first to break this news. They want the first to do this and do that, and they'll make it up. They'll take something that somebody says and, you know, get backwards, you know, or whatever the case may be. But you know what? I took my show for Paratalk Radio, and what I did was I told Cindy, this is the way it's going to be. We're gonna go on our shows. We're going to talk about the topics. We're gonna do our damnedest to stay away from the COVID-19 thing. People are sick of it. People need to be happy. People need, you know, reassurance that they're going to be okay.
Right. You're absolutely correct. And the only thing I can compare it to, Ted, is, and you know, I don't normally combine my career with when we're doing radio stuff, but like on the news with police, when do you ever see anything positive? Like, people just have this thing that, you know, when I go out and work my 12-hour shift, it's just 12 hours of absolute, you know, mayhem, and just the police are out there terrorizing people. They don't see, you know, the other 11 and a half hours of other things that we do that never get mentioned in the media.
People out drinking a soda. We know what you guys do, but you know, it's that was a joke, by the way. And,
yeah, because I don't drink soda.
Well, who eats the donuts? But
No. Anyway, but it's just.
I get it. But that's the way it is with media.
Yeah.
So many things have played negative on so many things in our lives, and media is the blame for it.
Right. Oh yeah. Look at. Well, you probably don't experience it as much as we do where you live, but you know, if the weather forecast is calling for a dusting to a possible inch of snow, I mean, that is all you hear.
Milk, bread, toilet paper,
for the
gas.
entire hour newscast, and it just throws people into a frenzy. And it's serious. Ted, I'm not lying. Because, I mean, they will call for, hey, there's a 40% chance we're going to get a light dusting to possibly 2 inches of snow. And, all hell breaks loose. You know what I mean? And it's
really, you guys don't drive in snow very often?
I do.
I do.
I do.
But there are people out here that are just, if they hear the word snow,
Yeah, they
panic.
I don't have a choice. I mean, I have to go to work.
We both had the driver's training in it.
Yeah.
We had to do it.
Fortunately, the police department, we switched. All the vehicles now are all-wheel drive.
Nice.
And one of my personal cars is SUV that has 4-wheel drive. So, you know.
Yep.
I don't know. A couple inches of dusting here is like, no big deal. We just go about our business.
Right.
When we get like 8 inches is when we kind of say, okay, well,
Yeah.
shoot, I gotta shovel before I can go to work.
Ours
Right.
is when it hits the curbside, and the world shuts down here.
Oh, it's people panic like you
Yeah.
wouldn't believe. Yeah, it's amazing.
People that can't live in New York because they'll be like pulling their hair out. And
All right, my friend. Well, we're going to call it a day on the show. Lots of love. Thank you for taking our call.
yeah, well, I just wanted to say hi and say how much miss you guys and love you guys. And
We love you,
Hey.
man.
You're coming.
with WLFE, and we got some new shows coming. You haven't heard, I'm sure.
Yep.
But we got some new shows coming, and the Bash. I'm just hoping things go well for the Bash.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, it just gets postponed a few
By the
weeks.
way,
But
hi, Pam. Pam's watching.
hey, Pam. Hey, Steve. Love you guys. I'm pretty sure this is going to be cleared up by
I
then.
sure hope so.
Yeah, I believe that too. So let's just hope. I know that next year, guys, for Rochester Winter Parafest, it'll be in March. So you guys will be coming.
We are going to be the first ones there.
yeah.
This is Ted. 2 years in a row, something come up
Yeah,
that we had
literally.
to bail. I mean, it's horrible, and that's the one place we want to be.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
want to be there.
Yeah, well, if I have to come down there and kidnap you guys, I know you're a cop, but just ignore this.
Promises.
Ted, I'm only a
Woo!
cop when I'm working, and that's even questionable these days. So,
David,
Yes,
I
sir.
know you want to be kidnapped, so shush.
Yeah.
just leave instructions how to do all this computer stuff before you take him with you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's technically challenged.
Technically
Yeah.
challenged.
Yeah.
Ted, it's
All right, guys, I'll
always
let
an
you
honor
go.
to talk to you. And
Always not, brother.
give Cindy our love and all our best, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right, well, okay, everybody there, say have a good time and stay safe, and I don't know, take care of your loved ones and your friends, and remember your neighbors are important too. So
Yep.
you know, all that good stuff.
Hey, Rip, before I let you go, man, I want to just you just reminded me of something. I want to give a quick shout out. My new neighbor, Mike. They've only been there for like a few months next door, and they texted me the other night. Check this out, Ted. He came across a whole pack of N95 masks and said that he was seeing on TV how the police all over the country aren't getting the supplies they need in time, to stay safe or whatever. And he gave them to me to distribute at work amongst my coworkers.
awesome.
He said, I know it's not much, but I had to feel
Yep.
that I was helping in some way.
That's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? And that's so cool, man. That he gave the last bit of mask that he uses for his own job to donate to us. And that was just really cool, man.
The thing is the reason I mention that is, and I try to on my own show, is the fact is that in the old days, neighbors cared about neighbors.
Yes,
helped
they
each
did.
other out. If somebody needed the barn fixed or something done, I mean, the neighbors got together and they did it. And that's why, certain small towns that I used to live, like in Colorado, Deer Track, Colorado, we used to have street parties where we all got together on one night and we put up the picnic tables in the middle of the street. We closed it down. We had a party,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But you cared about your neighbors.
Yep.
And if anything, right now, this is what's showing you that you need to, we need to understand that the way things were, we can't go back there. We need to care about people and your neighbors and your family and all that stuff and get back on track to the way it used to be, because we should be caring about each other,
Right.
and not being
Amen.
selfish and not being so stuck up our own butts.
Right.
Amen.
Let the Paranormal family set an example, man, because that's the best people in the world right there.
Amen.
Well, it's a small group, though, the paranormal family is a small chunk of this world, but at the same time, it's got to start somewhere, and
Yes.
if we all work together, we all give each other a hug. Well, after this is over with, stay away, Dave. 6 feet, remember that. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right, Ted. It was nice talking to you, my friend.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime, Dave.
We'll see you, my brother.
We'll see you soon, man.
Peggy said, nicely said, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Lots of love.
See you, Ted.
Same here.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Well, guys, we're a little bit over. About 20 minutes. I apologize. You know us, we're long-winded. But
thanks to those that stuck with us through the whole...
most definitely. Thank you to everybody who stuck with us. Guys, whatever you do, stay safe, please. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, watch them hands! Hey!
I'm on
stranger danger. He's gonna unplug everything here. Watch. If it suddenly goes down,
I'm unplugging my phone. I'm unplugging my phone cord because I know I'll forget it. I always forget it.
I'll make sure.
It was funny, man. 2 times ago when I went to the Lookout House. I left my coffee cup up there, and as soon as I got to the Lookout House the last time, Pam and Danny were in the kitchen. They were like, "Look, here, it's sitting right here," and I was like, "Oh, thank you, my coffee cup."
Hey!
Guess what's still sitting there?
He forgot
it again. So I got to do. I'm becoming one of them people that's gonna have to like write notes on my arm and stuff.
And he'll forget to look at that too.
So.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for this long-winded hour, and lots of love to you guys.
We will be back live this coming Saturday night with Tori Smith from the Paranormal Help Desk out of Kansas. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a cool episode.
Most definitely. Lots of love, guys.
One love, guys. Thank you. Be safe.
Peace.